Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to another edition of the NoDQ Review. Thank you for that, Wrestling Jesus. I am being joined by, as usual, El Virtuoso, our great moderator extraordinaire. How's it going, El Virtuoso?
It's going great, Aaron Rift. We have a lot to talk about.
As
today.
Always.
Yes, and we are also being joined once again by good old JM, Jeff Meacham, and filling in for Big Vito this week. Unfortunately, Vito has some family issues. Hopefully, he'll be back on at some point, but filling in for the time being for Big Vito is the Wrestling Trivia Challenge Champion of the World, Mr. Gregory Cherry. How's it going, Greg?
I'm no longer the new guy. Woo! All right.
Yeah, you're no longer the new guy. Yes, the two-time champion. Looking forward to season 4 when that starts, but that's another show. We got a lot to talk about in the wrestling world here today.
Right. So, El Virtuoso, go ahead and get us started with some topics. Let's talk some wrestling.
Okay, NoDQ Galaxy. We missed something last week, so we're going to kick off the show today by talking about the fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal, which is no longer called that. It is the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Obviously, everybody knows of Moolah's past. If you don't, I'm sure you can find it on the internet. So I want each one of your thoughts on how WWE even let that happen in the first place, especially with sponsors for WrestleMania. Greg, PA Sensation. By the way, hello, I'm El Virtuoso. I'm going to start with you, man.
Hola. So the fact that it even got to TV is a little baffling. I'm sure they had no malintentions. They just wanted a special battle royal, and they just used Mae Young for the Mae Young Classic. They probably could have used a different female that's passed away, like China's name was but I understand what they were going for. They just didn't really think it through. I was excited for the match itself. Like, I didn't even think about Moolah's name being attached to it at all. I was just looking forward to, hey, all the women from the company are going to be in this battle royal, and maybe a couple outside of the company. So I'm excited for that. I was excited for the match itself. I still am. So the fact that the name change doesn't bother me that much, but I can understand how it would upset somebody else.
Jeff, I want to ask you, so there's also going to be the Andre Memorial Battle Royal. So with two Battle Royals at WrestleMania, and we know it's going to be a 7-hour event if you count the kickoff show and everything that happens before. But do both of these matches go on the pre-show? Does one get on the main show and one not? Go ahead.
I think the negative backlash surrounding the Women's Battle Royal will probably move that match to the pre-show, number one, a kickoff show. Excuse me, Vince. I apologize for the incorrect naming of your show. My bad, Mr. McMahon. I'm sorry. Yeah, the fact that they allowed that to happen, the fact that they let the Moolah, the name slip by, it's like everybody knows, and if they don't know, they know somebody that does know about Moolah's shady past with the women she trained and housed and whatnot. I honestly think the best way to do it would have be both battle royals on the kickoff show. That way the matches actually mean something or on the main show.
Good point, Jeff.
Interesting.
I just wanted to say that I think when it comes to the Moolah name being used, I think WWE underestimated the power of social media and the kind of impact it would make. I think that's what happened there. As far as the Battle Royal, where it's going to be, I think the women's is going to be on the kickoff, and I think the men's will be on the main show because there is an Andre the Giant documentary coming up soon.
True.
I feel like that match is going to get the priority. I mean, 2 matches or 3 matches have to be on the kickoff, and there's a lot of strong matches for WrestleMania. I think one of the weakest matches is the Women's Battle Royal, and I hate to say it to all the 205 Live fans out there, but I have a feeling that the 205 Live championship match is going to be on the kickoff. El Virtuoso, anything you would like to add to that?
Actually, I'm more interested in Greg on his rebuttal to you saying that the women's one's going to be on the pre-show. Greg, go ahead, because I saw you shaking your head, and we need to know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I actually think it's going to be reversed. I mean, this is the first women's battle royal, technically. I mean, they had one at 25, but that was a freaking joke. So this is the first legitimate all-women battle royal. that they're going to have at WrestleMania, and I think they want to have the importance of that on the main show. So they'll probably have some women from the past again. They might have Trish, they might have Lita, they might have people that were in the Royal Rumble, but they also might have a couple surprises. And they said it's open to everybody in NXT. So I think even with the Andre Memorial Battle Royal being on the card, and even with his documentary coming out, they've been doing that match the last 4 years. And admittedly, it's kind of lost its luster a little bit because the winners don't do anything.
That's true. I agree with you, Greg. I think the Andre will be on the kickoff show and the women's will be on the main show. Aaron.
Yeah, so Greg, let me ask you a question then. In your opinion, at this point, which matches go on the kickoff? You think the men's Battle Royal is going to be on the kickoff. What else goes on the kickoff in your opinion?
I think you're right with the Cruiserweight Championship, which is... I feel bad for the show or for the matches that go on the kickoff because it's like, okay, you worked all year to get to WrestleMania and you're wrestling before the entire crowd gets there. It was different when I went to WrestleMania 28, which was only a few years ago, and they only had the one kickoff match, which was a triple threat tag. And honestly, I hope, and we might get to this later, we might not, I hope the Usos get a main card match.
Yeah.
Which is kind of looking like the Usos versus the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers, which I am completely fine with. And anybody who says, oh, the Bludgeon Brothers are going to ruin it, go back to Money in the Bank 2014, the Usos versus Harper and Rowan, 2 out of 3 falls. So that match was freaking fantastic. So if you think Harper and Rowan are going to like bring this match down, watch that match, come back and be like, oh, this triple threat's going to be freaking awesome.
I think.
And how often have people wanted to see Luke Harper get a nice solid push? And it's in a tag team, but here we are. I mean, this is an opportunity. So, any other thoughts on that? If not, I'll do. 3 seconds. Yeah. Go ahead.
I know. Yeah. I just would like to see both Battle Royals get recognition, but like Greg said, the Andre show, the match just kind of lost its luster. But with his documentary being literally 2 days, I believe, after WrestleMania, they gotta give some sort of bigger momentum to that match. If nothing else, than to honor Andre for his accomplishments and for him having the documentary in a couple days. So again, we'll see how things play out on April 8th.
Yeah, and I think what they should do if shows are on the kickoff. Matches are on the kickoff show, that's fine. They should let people file in first, though, and not have that, what was it, Miz last year?
Yeah.
Or, that match. Yeah. So that's what they need to do. Yeah. Just have a big event, make sure the crowd's already there. All right, Mark Henry is going to be in the Hall of Fame, WWE Hall of Fame. I actually think this is, he's been kind of inactive for a while. I was a big fan of when he did the fake retirement gimmick with Cena. So, to me, that would have been great if he was actually announced for the Hall of Fame back then and still did that gimmick and had a match with Cena. But the fact is, this is good news. This is really good news. I like Mark Henry, and heck, I remember the Nation of Domination. I mean, that was some of the best Mark Henry work leading into his stuff with China that I can remember. So, Jeff, I'll start with you. General thoughts on Mark Henry being in this year's class.
Big fan of Mark Henry, going way back. I actually like the original gimmick he had, the Olympic champion coming, the Olympic qualifier coming in the WWE, and hopefully he didn't really get off where he needed to get going there on the launch, but he joined the Nation not too long after that, and it went really well for him. Then, of course, Sexual Chocolate was a big deal in the Attitude Era, and more power to him. I think everything that happened with Kurt Angle is what they wanted to have with Mark Henry, because he was an Olympic athlete. They really wanted him to go far, and it just didn't happen that way. But since then, he's had a very interesting career. I don't know if it's a monumental career, but he has been world champion. He was ECW champion, and he had a big role in the Attitude Era as far as his impact. So he deserves it for sure. And Aaron, I think you'll agree with that.
Absolutely. I think he's had a very lengthy career. He's done a lot of things over the years. He's been serious. He's been doing comedy. He's done all sorts of different roles in WWE over the years. He's been a good ambassador for the company. I just hope that he wears that suit, the retirement suit from 2013 for his Hall of Fame speech. Greg, anything else you would like to add on Mark Henry?
I mean, Mark Henry has had a career where he's changed a lot. I mean, you figure you guys covered the Attitude Era stuff, but right after the 2002 draft, he came back and was still doing the World's Strongest Man gimmick, and then he aligned himself with Teddy Long, and then he was with Melina and Eminem for a short period of time, if you guys remember that, before he really got into his Hall of Pain stuff a couple years later. So Mark Henry has stood the test of time when a lot of people probably thought he wouldn't. And Mark Henry is probably one of the better big men in wrestling history, and probably still underrated to this day.
All right, I want to put all you on the spot. What do you think was the most memorable moment of Mark Henry's career? Play the Jeopardy music, Aaron.
Yeah, right.
All right,
Jeff, you're always Mr. Talkative. I'll start with you.
All right.
On the top of your head.
I honestly think when you look back at Mark Henry's career, the biggest moment in his career, and I'm not saying this to deride him or whatever, but I think it'll be the whole Mae Young giving birth to a hand thing. The fact that he was involved in that, and that sucks for Mark. But he beat Randy Orton for the world title. Yeah, but the thing, when you think of Mark Henry, you think of Mae Young and the relationship. So
yeah. Well, you know what? I think I would have to go with, I hate to say this too, the first thing that popped to my mind was Mark Henry and Sammy. I know, right? It's so bad. We shouldn't think of those moments. But you know what?
Jesus.
Seriously, the retirement, the fake retirement, like I said, with the suit, that was fantastic. That was his best serious moment. It was so
well done.
Yeah. Greg, your thoughts?
I'm going to give him a little more credit. I'm going to say his entire Hall of Pain run.
Okay.
Because that really showed how good Mark Henry was. Because they made him the dominant monster. They made him look like nobody could beat him. Which is okay, forget the last 15 years. This is Mark Henry now. He's dominant. and they made it work. Yep. And they made it work by making him destroy guys like Big Show and Kane and beating Orton for the title. And beating him in Hell in a Cell, too. So I'm giving his entire Hall of Pain run the nod there.
World's Strongest Champion.
I'll agree with you, Aaron. I like the whole angle of the fake retirement, the feud with John Cena. For comedy relief, not the hand and Mae Young thing. I liked him dating China and the storylines. I think that really gave him an identity, obviously. Sexual chocolate, but that was a different time with that type of Attitude Era gimmick. But kudos to Mark Henry. All right, so on Raw. And it didn't even make the cut on Hulu, was the Ultimate Deletion. And what I noticed is, with all the great production WWE can give, I did not like it as much as what happened in TNA. And such that I think WWE didn't like it either, because Corey Graves rolled his eyes. Michael Cole said, I apologize. And there's just a lot of shots going towards Matt Hardy, whether it's intentional or not. Aaron, I want to start with you. What are your general thoughts? And Bray Wyatt, what happens next for him? And I guess you could say Matt as well.
Well, that's a great question about Bray Wyatt. What's next for him? I've heard talk about him possibly being repackaged. We'll see what WWE does with him. Maybe he'll come back as Husky Harris. Maybe he'll come back as a modified Bray Wyatt, much like The Undertaker took his time off and then came back as the Ministry Undertaker. You could see Bray Wyatt have a little bit of a character overhaul in terms of his look and his beard. Maybe he could trim the beard or something. There's several things that could be done. Or maybe WWE does absolutely nothing and there's no follow-up to him going into the Lake of Reincarnation. Now, as far as the segment goes, I did enjoy it. It wasn't as good as the final deletion in TNA, but I feel that's what generally happens when you have sequels. The sequels are never quite as good as the original. They spend more money on the sequels. There are exceptions, Jeff. There are exceptions. But overall, I did enjoy the segment. I applaud creativity. I like when WWE thinks outside the box and tries some different things. So, Greg, let's go with you now. Your thoughts on it.
I enjoyed it. I knew it was going to be different, and anybody who watched the final deletion in TNA knew it wasn't going to be traditional. I saw a lot of people on Twitter bury it. People on Twitter don't bury anything. But I enjoyed it for what it was. I knew it wasn't going to be a Matt classic or it wasn't going to be a technical masterpiece, but I wasn't looking for it to be. I knew it was going to be silly. I knew it was going to be over the top, and it was a hell of a lot better than House of Horrors. Let's be honest.
Definitely.
So I'm looking forward to see what they do with Bray Wyatt too, and what they do with Matt from here on out. Hopefully their feud is over. I saw somewhere on Facebook, and I'm sure there's nothing to this. Somebody was posting about Bray Wyatt coming back as like an IRS ripoff.
I like it.
See if that. he could probably pull it off, you know. But
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens with him.
Well, before Jeff gives his thoughts, I had suggested an idea of maybe Bray Wyatt has an identity crisis, and every week he comes out as a different character from WWE history. Like one week he's IRS, another week he can be any number of characters, and just have him confused as to who he is. He's just confused, you know, like Bray Wyatt doesn't know who he is, and he comes out as different people. I thought that might be interesting. But Jeff, your overall thoughts on this whole final deletion, ultimate deletion, whatever it's called, in Bray Wyatt's future?
First off, Rocky 2, Back to the Future Part 2. Better than the original. Okay. I would like Bray Wyatt to come back as Blackjack Wyatt. Family traditions. Make it happen. All right. The match was what it was. It was not going to be a 5-star Meltzer or whatever you want to call it classic. It wasn't going to be that. It was what it was. It was funny to watch. It wasn't as good, I don't think, as the TNA versions, but it was still fun to watch. I'm curious what they're going to do with Bray Wyatt legitimately going forward. Matt Hardy, it's like we saw the glimpse of Brother Nero at the very end of that the deletion match on Monday. So will we see Brother Nero come back for WrestleMania? Will he be cleared of these charges? Will the charges not affect him going forward? I'd like to see the Hardys, you know, I'd like to see the broken Hardys or the woken Hardys in WWE. That'd be fun to see. But yeah, I liked the match, but I wasn't a fan of the whole broken stuff in TNA, so I'm kind of a biased figure. So.
All right.
Well, I think, you know, that's a good point, Jeff. I think Matt and Jeff should have a run in WWE as those gimmicks and see where they go. As for Bray, you know, he could probably resurface just as Bray Wyatt. They'll have the roster shakeup. He'll end up on SmackDown, and we'll see the same stuff over and over again. Personally, I think he should come out after some time off. And, you know, why doesn't WWE give the mic to a talent and let him cut a fourth wall, breaking the fourth wall promo? You know, I mean, Bray Wyatt coming out, still calling himself Bray, and saying, look, everybody, I'm better than this, but they don't think I am in the back. That it's simple. I know we've seen this over and over again, but I mean, when has that really not worked? I mean, it made CM Punk a megastar. Yep. So that's all I'm saying. You know, we can win.
And it kept Jeff Jarrett mediocrity, so, you know, it goes both ways.
Very true.
Well,
sorry,
yeah, that's a good point. But, you know, with Bray, why not try it? I mean, you're either going to win or lose, right? Yep. He has nothing to lose, so.
Yeah.
All right, Roman Reigns came out on Monday Night Raw. And, again, we haven't seen Brock for a while. And the U.S. Marshal gimmick. So we know about indie wrestlers playing cops, playing, you know, lawyers, different whatever. But this was really cheesy. I guess the Miranda rights were on an index card. You know, he got cuffed in the front. You know, and I don't know. I'm not in law enforcement, so I don't know when you get your hands behind your back versus in front. Obviously, we know he was going to take suplexes. So, Aaron, what are your thoughts here? Because I enjoyed Brock finally showing up, and did it give enough heat to this feud?
Well, I just wanted to say, aren't you usually on the other side of law enforcement? You know what I mean? Getting in a little bit of trouble, you know, trying to cross the border, getting into the United States, and that sort of thing.
All legal here,
we're
baby.
going to hell. Okay.
You're going to edit.
Sneaking across the border?
We are all legal here. Green card, we're good to go.
All right, just checking on you, El Virtuoso. Anyways, to answer your very well thought out question, I think that it was a good segment, but I think the one problem was referring to those guys as U.S. Marshals. I don't think that was necessary. They could have just been Vince's bodyguards or Vince's personal security. They could have brought J&J Security out there to take care of Roman Reigns, and then Reigns could beat him up. I know Greg is laughing, but they could have done any number of things. I think the mistake was having the U.S. Marshals come out. That was just a little bit too over the top, in my opinion.
Because shouldn't Roman be in jail right now for putting his hands on law enforcement?
Yeah, he committed a felony. So, you know, that's 10 years. I guess we'll be seeing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 34. But, Jeff, your thoughts on the whole segment?
I'm going to try to contain my verbiage because I was talking with Kayfabe Candy Ass about this on Facebook.
No.
Last night before last.
You didn't do it correctly. It's Kayfabe Candy Ass.
Who?
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
Erroneous.
I was talking with him. Erroneous.
the point, the fact of the matter is that they made Brock Lesnar look like exactly what Roman Reigns was calling him, a little female dog word. And quite frankly, he looked like a female body part word because he attacked the guy when he was handcuffed. So it's, if they're trying to write Brock off as a punk, then that's fine. But he's the he's the Universal Champion. He can't be written like this going into the biggest show of the year, whether he's leaving or not. And now we have, Roman Reigns, who was obliterated by, being cuffed by U.S. Marshals and then getting beat up. So both your contender and your champion going into the biggest show of the year looked ridiculous in one night. Bad booking. Horrible.
Right.
PA sensation.
It's still better than the tug of war, let's face it.
Well, no, because
we all agree.
The tug of war was funnier with the weed thing on the meme. That was funnier. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, as like the go home show, like that's what you saw. It's like, oh, it's my belt. No, it's my belt. It's like 6 days to Mania. This is what we get. At least with Rock Cena, you got the stare down after they cut the promos. It's like, okay, they're not going to be physical until WrestleMania, so we're getting really excited about this.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I didn't see the whole segment. I saw the part where Reigns attacked the U.S. Marshals and got beat up by Lesnar. But they could have just done like regular cops. It's like that would have been like half the other segments that involve cops in the WWE. It's like, oh, the cops are there and they're going to get beat up because that's what they do. I don't have any like opinions one way or the other about it. It's just 1 week of storylines. If it's ridiculous, fine. If it gets Roman over as a babyface, fine. And if it makes Lesnar look like a chicken crap heel, which, let's face it, that's what they're trying to go for. They're trying to get Roman cheered. And if it works, go for it. Because they've been trying for years.
Yeah, but it didn't, because you had half a crowd going, you deserve it, when he was laying on his back. It was like, oh my God, they blew it. They totally blew it. And the problem is, we don't have Seth Rollins with a contract to cash in and fix this damn match at WrestleMania. We're going to see these guys go to the end.
But go to WrestleMania 31, Jeff. They were having a solid match, Brock and Roman. I mean, Roman was bloodied. I mean, it was a rough. That's what we're going to get, a rough physical match. These guys are probably they're telling each other, hey, I'm going to hurt you, you're going to hurt me, but that's what we have to do to sell this to the crowd. That's what I think.
But the problem is, 3 years ago, we were still not completely down on Roman Reigns yet, and Brock Lesnar was still a solid, badass champion. Now it's like, we know Brock might be leaving, and we're really sick of Roman now, so we don't care as much. If Seth Rollins had cashed in this year as opposed to 3 years ago, we'd be like, oh, thank God. But now it's like, we had to do through the whole thing, and we hate these guys, and we can't deal with this for however long it's going to go for the match. I still think this should not be the main event, but it will be.
As in, you mean going on last?
Going on last, sorry. The final match of the night. So I know I got to clarify with WWE, freaking 10 main events in one night.
Yeah, Greg, anything you wanted to add?
I was going to say, if this match, if it's going to main event WrestleMania, it has to go at least 15 minutes. It has to. If it goes any less than that, it should not be in the main event spot.
And Roman can definitely go 20. But Brock is Brock. Well, we haven't really seen Brock do much in the last couple of years, right?
Right.
That's understandable, but that's also with his whole stuff with the UFC, and he went to fight Mark Hunt. And like, as soon as he came back, he did the stint with Goldberg, where Goldberg couldn't go more than 5 minutes anyway. Yeah. Which I still say the WrestleMania 33 match was better than the WrestleMania 20 match. And I stand by that.
Well, that's a firm stance, and it's one to take because it's freaking truth.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's hope WWE has a contingency plan when this match is going on, and if it goes on last, Jeff, like you suggested, and if this crowd starts getting, not into this match, such as WrestleMania 20, Lesnar Goldberg, WWE should have a backup plan to captivate the crowd, and obviously we know it would be Roman turning heel. But what do you guys think could happen if the crowd really turns on this match to where it's going to get ugly? 75,000 people. What could they do as a plan B? Like if the guys are told to go out there and if the crowd go this way to save it. Any thoughts?
Go ahead, Greg, please.
Lesnar retains and loses at the next night on Raw.
Oh, jeez.
Call an audible?
Because you know what?
But that's good stuff. I mean, you got to have audibles.
Yeah, right. Nobody would see that coming, because it's like, okay, we know Lesnar's leaving, and then he wins. It's like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
I'm going to totally steal the gimmick of the guy that Greg is filling in for this week. Outlandish prediction time. Carmella cashes in and wins the Universal Championship. Boom, you heard it here first.
Actually, you're just ripping off that person, but good for you, Jeff. Good for you.
I'm taking over. It's okay. It's all right. I'm taking over.
All right.
Carmella cashes in and wins the Universal Championship.
You know what? I want to talk about that before we go to our main event, which I have a feeling is going to be a 20 or 30-minute discussion today. Let's talk about Carmella. Cashing in but not cashing in. I mean, is she losing credibility? We talked about this before. She has to cash in and win when she does cash in. Aaron, what was your thoughts on SmackDown this week when that little segment happened?
So Carmella came out, attempted to cash in. I'm just sick of all the delays. It seems like every time Carmella or somebody comes out, it takes forever for the referee. Oh, there's the NoDQ beach ball, by the way. Cheap plug, $9.98. Email me, nodqmisc@gmail.com. There's still some left. But anyways, back to the topic. Carmella, I'm just sick of that whole thing where the referee's taking forever to cash it in and all that stuff. It should just be when she's out there, she gets in the ring, you ring the bell, just, oh shit, you get it done already.
What keeps it from being a cash in? She hands the briefcase over, but if the bell doesn't ring, she can get out of it? I mean, is that what they've been doing? Oh, yeah, that's so bad.
Here's the thing, to quote Jeff Meacham. I think what they should do is have Asuka and Charlotte go like a 20-minute match where they both completely exhaust each other. And like Asuka wins the championship and she's just laying down because she can't get up because she went through a war with Charlotte. Completely believable. And then Carmella runs down the ramp. Asuka can't do anything. And then super kick to the face and she ends the streak. And it's the cheapest way to do it. So much heat. It would just, I think it would be awesome. Like, that is such a cheap way to end the streak. People would be pissed, but she's a heel, so it would work. I think that's how if she loses the briefcase, it'll be like, there hasn't been a successful cash-in in 2 years.
Does she have to cash in on SmackDown? I mean, because it was a SmackDown pay-per-view, but what do we think about that? Could they swerve us there?
Yeah.
I mean, that's possible. She could cash in on Alexa or Nia. Perhaps Nia gets herself disqualified by beating Alexa to a pulp, and then Carmella runs out and wins the title that way.
So I was gonna say, I think the amount of heat that she would get for ending Asuka's streak like that would be detrimental more than successful. I think that if she cashed in on the Raw side, I think that it would work because you know what, Carmella on SmackDown, she's never gonna be the top champion. There's Charlotte, and then Asuka, when she wins, is going to be the top person on SmackDown. If Carmella jumps to Raw and cashes in on either Alexa or Nia, whoever wins or whoever survives that match, pretty much, I like to see her get a fresh start on Raw because Carmella is better than we're giving her credit for. Number one. Number two, everybody else that's saying the cash is ridiculous. Dolph Ziggler tried to cash in how many times and then backed away? Look at the pop he got when he actually cashed in. That was the biggest pop I've ever heard for a Money in the Bank cash in, I think, ever. People just went nuts in Jersey for that.
Refresh my memory. Who was that against? Del Rio?
Alberto Del Rio, yes, sir.
Your countryman.
And the fact of the matter was, Alberto was a babyface, but Dolph kind of was like, oh my God, we're going to see it. It's going to happen. And he won. The roof blew off that place. So I'm not saying the roof blew off if Carmella would catch in because people don't buy into Carmella as much as they did to Dolph Ziggler 5 years ago.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, she needs a fresh start, and she'll get it on Raw if she cashes in.
All right.
Interesting. So speaking of blowing the roof off the place, I think we're going to have a lengthy discussion here. WWE announced that Daniel Bryan has been cleared for in-ring competition. And I'll tell you what. They did the retirement. They didn't know back then. He had brain neck issues. And I'll tell you, this is the perfect time of year because WrestleMania season. And you had all your big matches lined up, but no matter what involvement Daniel Bryan has at WrestleMania, I was just captivated what happened on SmackDown. And it's just amazing. It's just something so delicate of putting, basically that was a shoot promo. Daniel Bryan's a great worker. He knows how to take his real emotions and work it into his promos and captivate the crowd. This guy is another level. I mean, let's face it, when CM Punk went bye-bye, Daniel Bryan became that guy that a lot of fans are drawn to. Right. So I don't even know where to start. I'll start with you, Greg. Just your general thoughts of him coming back. Are you worried about him? Can he work safe? What's your thoughts of the physicality that he had on SmackDown with Zayn and Owens?
I don't think he gives a crap about working safe. Did you see those drop kicks he was delivering? It was like, okay, he landed on his head about 4 times. It's like Daniel Bryan doesn't care. He wants to be back in that ring. He's going to do it his way. Am I worried about his health? Yeah, I mean, we all have to be because of the issues that he had. But in the same vein, he's been wanting to do this. He's been working hard for 2+ years now. And we remember Shawn Michaels had a broken back and was out from 98 to 2002. But we legit thought his career was over because a broken back. I mean, how do you recover from that? And then Shawn came back in 2002 and had probably the best second run anybody has ever had.
Agreed.
So I hope Daniel Bryan stays safe. I hope he stays off the injured list. They probably won't make him work a full-time schedule, which is fine. I mean, we still get him competing in matches, which I think is all we wanted to begin with. It's like, we don't care how often, but as long as we see him back in the ring, it'll be good.
Right. And I think it's going to be a slow process with him. You know, they're going to play it safe. They're not going to take any chances. Reportedly, he's going to be tested after each match he has. So I'm thinking, you know, he's doing the tag match. He's in a tag situation where he doesn't have to do as much work, but I'm sure he'll get the hot tag and clean house and do all that stuff. He'll probably still take some bumps in that match too. But they'll slowly get him back in and see how his body's holding up and just proceed with caution and be optimistic about it. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful this works out for him. Like Virtue said, or El Virtuoso, I'm not sure who said it. One of those guys said it. I think it was Virtue because it was on Twitter. Somebody said that with Daniel Bryan, you know, he's going to wait and see how Bryan can function in the ring, working somewhat of a regular schedule before getting too excited about this comeback. So, Jeff, anything? I know you and me talked about this. Is there anything
we did
else?
On Tuesday, right.
Is there anything else, you know, any other thoughts you've had over the past few days regarding Daniel Bryan?
Pardon me, somebody said this while I was distracted by the outside thing here. I think if Bryan had not gotten hurt 4 years ago, he'd still be the guy.
Yeah,
I think he'd still be the guy that they're going to because the fans loved him so much. And from the SummerSlam 2013 right up through WrestleMania and even after when he got hurt, the fans were completely into him and they bought into him because he was one of them. He was the indie darling. He was the guy that came up and worked his butt off to get where he was, and they loved him. We still love him to this day. So I think that once he gets himself back into the groove and is allowed to work a match here, a match there, not a full schedule like you all said, I think that if we give him time and have patience, I think we'll see him have a really good second run. Shawn Michaels, you guys mentioned, coming back after all that time. I think he had a better second half than the first half, to be quite honest with you. So I think if Bryan stays healthy, he's still young enough where he can have that second run and completely blow us all away.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that one for sure. Virtuoso, anything else you would like to add on this?
Virtuoso.
I am going to be very skeptical on how WWE books him because, you know, yes, we did get the WrestleMania 30 run, and basically WWE had no choice, right, with Batista winning the Royal Rumble, and the payoff was Daniel Bryan having an incredible WrestleMania event. Beat Triple H in the opener, beat Batista and Orton to win the championship, and of course it was at New Orleans, where WrestleMania is this year. Right. So there's obviously going to be that nostalgia, that pop that Daniel Bryan's going to get, but afterwards is really what I'm interested about because all that goes through my mind is minus that one run where he won the title and he unfortunately got hurt. He was the B-plus player in the authorities' eyes, in Stephanie McMahon's eyes, and they drilled it. They made him chase and chase and chase and chase. So I'm just skeptical that, you know, what I want to go to each one of you. What's an ideal one-on-one feud for Daniel Bryan once he's ready to do one? Say SummerSlam. I don't know how long his stints will be in between matches. But to get him like where the fans can really think, wow, this guy's going right back up to the championship level. Jeff, I'll start with you. I hope we all have a different answer.
2 letters, 1 word. AJ Styles. That is the match that I think we saw at PWG at one point, Aaron. Correct me if I'm wrong there. That is the match people talked about from the minute AJ walked in, right around the same time that Bryan retired. If both those guys can stay healthy, and both those guys, AJ is apparently hurt right now, so who knows? But if these guys can stay healthy for the rest of this year and get back into ring shape, the two of them, can you imagine a SummerSlam main event between these two? Holy crap.
Yeah, that's going to be an amazing match if Bryan can stay healthy and they can build up to that. I mean, I don't see it happening right away. I mean, it could, but I think that's the type of match you should save for like a SummerSlam or even a WrestleMania if they can hold off that long. But, there's a lot of question marks about Daniel Bryan. I just think it's going to be really interesting, the fact that Bryan's going to be back now, and this might be the worst thing for Roman Reigns because, again, fans are going to be so invested in Bryan, and they'll be invested in AJ versus Nakamura at WrestleMania and some of the other matches. How is Lesnar and Reigns going to be able to sustain crowd heat with all these other big matches on the show? I'm really curious the order of the matches at WrestleMania. This is something we talked about a little bit a few weeks ago, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more when we do our actual predictions video. But I'm really curious as to how WWE is going to order these matches, and how is the crowd going to react to Lesnar and Reigns. But besides AJ Styles, Nakamura's another guy right at the top of the list of dream matches for Daniel Bryan in WWE. So you can do that. You can have AJ fight some Raw guys. You got Seth Rollins, you got Finn Balor, you got Samoa Joe, you got Roman Reigns. You could even revisit that match again. Greg, any matches you would like to see in particular?
Well, naturally, I have to go with my fellow Clarion University alum, and a match that people have been talking about since Kurt Angle was in TNA and Daniel Bryan was in the Indies. I just gave it away. Daniel Bryan and Kurt Angle.
Oh, yeah.
General manager against SmackDown general manager. They could build it that way.
There we go.
That is a technical match that everybody wanted to see. It's a match we wanted to see since Kurt came back to WWE, and now that Daniel Bryan's healed, perhaps we could see that at SummerSlam. Or perhaps at Survivor Series, since it's going to be Raw versus SmackDown anyway. We could get Daniel Bryan versus Kurt Angle in that. Or I don't want to put them on the Raw and SmackDown teams. I would rather just save that for a one-on-one because that's the match we all want.
I love all these choices, and obviously you can't go wrong if Daniel Bryan's half of the match. Here's what I would like to see for SummerSlam, and obviously something can happen based on where they're going with this tag match. Well, assuming it's going to be Shane and Daniel Bryan versus Owens and Zayn, I want to see a Shane McMahon versus Daniel Bryan match because Shane's the one McMahon that doesn't always have to win, if ever win at all. And I want to see Daniel Bryan get the best of a McMahon. He deserves it. Everything he went through storyline-wise, yes, we know he got that WrestleMania 30 spot. But Shane's the perfect piece, I think. Feud him against Daniel Bryan. And, Daniel Bryan at some point has to step down as the commissioner if you want. I mean, he doesn't have to, but there could be an intriguing storyline there. Yep. That's what I want to see. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, no, not Shane again. But because he's got the McMahon name, I want to see Bryan defeat a McMahon at a big show like SummerSlam. So that's what I would choose. Any thoughts on that? I mean, Greg, any thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, and Jeff will know this because, well, once I say it, he'll get it. Anybody who says, oh, no, not Shane again, you've lost your mind. Because everybody was like that for Shane and AJ last year. It's like, oh, this match is going to be terrible. It was the freaking match of the night. I knew it was going to be because I know how good Shane is and AJ Styles is AJ Styles. I said, even if they don't have a no disqualification match, they somehow worked a little bit of that in there, but they had the match of the night. And Shane McMahon being involved in any match, I get excited for. Maybe not everybody does because he's not a full-time worker. But you know what? For not being a full-time worker, he's probably one of, if not the best, part-time workers for matches.
And he's not selfish. I mean, I know Vince put Austin over. Stephanie comes across as selfish as hell. But Shane is just that genuinely, I just want to do what's best for business, ironically. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, think about the Shane McMahon matches and moments. At one point or another, he's been the talked about match or moment of any given night he's a part of. WrestleMania 15. Yeah, we had Rock and Austin, but the fact that Shane McMahon and his evil corporation got Triple H in China to turn on DX, big moment. WrestleMania 17 with him and Mr. McMahon. The SummerSlam 2000 battle with Steve Blackman. Thank you. Just stuff like that Shane McMahon does. Shane McMahon is capable of pulling a rabbit out of his hat any given night he's there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's not forget the 2001 King of the Ring too.
One of the greatest matches I've ever seen.
Was that not the match of the night that night? I mean, think about it.
It's probably one of the top matches of all time.
It is. Yeah, you had Kurt Angle, who was still kind of injured going into that King of the Ring match, and Shane frickin' McMahon had the match of one of the best matches of all time.
It was Kurt's third match of the night, too.
Yeah, seriously, Kurt was getting ready to go take a little bit of a time. He had just come back from injury, being the whole thing with Austin for a while. He came back from injury. Shane McMahon is Shane McMahon, and Kurt had 3 matches that night, including Shane. It was just something. Shane McMahon is capable of things we can't even comprehend as civilians. Like Shane McMahon, he's an executive, he's a business guy, but he can go in the ring and do these things, and we just go, holy, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, since we're talking about WrestleMania, I can't, and there's so many big matches. It's like every week we got to keep bringing this back because we have not seen The Undertaker yet.
Nope.
John Cena. I've been very intrigued by this run with John Cena because I like vulnerability. I like scratching, clawing, begging for a match at WrestleMania. So what's everybody's predictions? Are we going to see Undertaker this Monday? And where are they at? I think Cleveland. And what form of The Undertaker are we going to get? Because, last year we thought he was stepping away after Roman beat him. He laid the gimmick in the ring, which at the time we thought he was done.
Right.
But looking back on it now, was he just leaving the dead man in there? Kid Rock, American Badass. But we haven't seen the Undertaker yet. Greg, what's your thoughts, and when is WWE going to deliver? Are they going to milk this thing all the way to April 8th?
Yes. They will not show, in my opinion, and they shouldn't show Undertaker until WrestleMania, the day of. So what I think happens is Cena goes out, he cuts a promo, like maybe he was in the crowd, like watching. It's like, okay, I know I want to come here as a fan, but I'm going to give this one last shot. Undertaker come out. And like he waits a few seconds, and then you hear the gong. The lights go out, but then it's the American Badass theme. Like you tease it like it's going to be the dead man, but since Kid Rock's getting inducted in the Hall of Fame this year, there's been a lot of speculation that he'll come out to that theme, which I can believe.
Remember when Bray Wyatt challenged The Undertaker? Bray carried a solo program all the way up. We didn't see Undertaker until San Jose. Aaron, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, I know, we beat it like a dead horse with Taker and Cena, but people want to know. We're a week closer to WrestleMania.
Well, I'd like to see Undertaker come back as the American Badass, and if you're going to do it, this is the time because Kid Rock's going into the Hall of Fame. You can have Kid Rock play The Undertaker out to the ring. That's the only reason I would not wait until WrestleMania for The Undertaker, because obviously it would feel very staged if Cena called out Undertaker at WrestleMania and then Kid Rock all of a sudden is doing his entrance. So I would do the big angle as the final segment on the Go Home Raw, where Cena comes out and says, well, I guess no Undertaker, so I'm just going to go into the crowd. And then you have that Judgment Day 2000 promo with the little kids on the screen, and then Undertaker comes out on the bike. He's up on the ramp with the bike, and that's the last shot you see until WrestleMania. Jeff, what do you think about it?
Everything you said except him coming out. I'd love to see the promo and everything, and then see you Sunday. Boom, end of show.
Nice.
Judgment Day is coming. It's just the
Judgment Day is coming. See you Sunday. Boom, done. That's it.
All right. There you
go.
Well,
we saw Brock on Raw. We're still waiting to see The Undertaker. And Rousey is now off of Raw for a while. And I know we talked about this last week that a lot of us thought Rousey got to Stephanie McMahon too early.
Yep.
Do you think they can get through promoting this match with minimal Ronda Rousey? Do you think she'll be back on Raw? I was very surprised to not even see Triple H and Stephanie on Raw this past week. Or did I miss them? Right? They weren't on.
No, I think they're trying to minimize everybody because she touched Stephanie so fast. I think they're trying to, let's ease off for a week or so and then bring him back for the goal, bring him home for April 2nd.
Yeah, I think Jeff's completely on the money with that one. I think that they realized they were doing too much too fast. And they're ruining the novelty of Ronda Rousey. They don't want to have her on TV every single week, and I think they realized that was a mistake. They want to keep her around as a special attraction like Brock Lesnar and not have her on television every single week. So I do feel they did that angle. I don't think that she should have touched Stephanie. I think they should have stayed separate. Greg, anything you would like to add to this?
I think, especially with the Go Home Raw, that Triple H and Stephanie need to get their heat back. They need to sneak attack Ronda and attack Kurt Angle again to be like,
lay him out.
Okay, yeah, now get the heel advantage going into WrestleMania because classic booking. But if they don't get their heat back, then it kind of the match itself loses its luster because you want to see Ronda get back at Stephanie, but if she already got to Stephanie, then seeing her get to Stephanie again is kind of like okay, that's fine. You already beat her up once, but now, but that's why they need all four of them need to be on the go home Raw. Triple H and Stephanie need to get one up on them, get the payback at WrestleMania.
I agree. And I don't know why this made me think of Braun Strowman. Maybe because at one point I thought maybe it could be Braun and Ronda Rousey. So as we know, Braun Strowman is a #1 contender for the tag team titles because he won a Battle Royal a couple weeks ago on Raw. He still does not have a partner. So with Braun being, the Bar's a very credible tag team. Cesaro and Sheamus, we've dogged Sheamus, not we, but people have dogged Sheamus over the years. The guy's a competitor, and him and Cesaro are a very, very, very solid tag team in an era where they don't push tag teams other than like the Usos and the New Day like they should. So I do like this combination of giving Braun something for WrestleMania. Obviously, a lot of people wanted to see him go against Brock or maybe be against Lesnar and Reigns in a triple threat, but this is what he's going to get. Do you guys think he should have a tag team partner? If so, who? Or do you think because he's such the monster, it should have been 2-on-1 handicap match? Aaron, thoughts?
Okay, well, real quick, because I have addressed this on a couple other videos. I do think he should have a partner because I think him alone against the Bar, beating them, would hurt the Bar. I would like to see a dysfunctional partner for Braun Strowman, somebody who does not get along with Strowman, because then it creates this doubt that they'll be able to work together and actually be able to beat the Bar. The Bar can take advantage of them not getting along. So whether it's somebody like Samoa Joe or Elias, I think Elias is going to do a song at WrestleMania and get the Jeff Jarrett interruption. That's my prediction. So I'm thinking like somebody like Samoa Joe or I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody else who could possibly fill that spot. Jeff, any thoughts on it? Who would you like to see in that tag team spot?
I said the minute Kurt Angle said he needed a partner, it was going to be Elias. I think that Elias needs to be there's nothing for Elias. Elias has been such a huge, whether we wanted it or not, a huge part of Raw the last few months. And I think that him getting a marquee spot in the if you can call it the tag team title a marquee spot, but him getting that his name attached to the tag team championships. And like you said, the dysfunctional tag team thing works because Elias doesn't like Strowman because he's scared of him, and Strowman doesn't like Elias because he doesn't like Elias. So I think it'd be a good fit for having dysfunction, because you don't get a whole lot of dysfunctional tag teams anymore. The fact was the Bar was dysfunctional, and look how good they've become the last 2 years now.
Yeah.
So let them have their run until WrestleMania, and then let's see what Strowman and Elias can do as a dysfunctional tag team. It'd be fun to watch.
All right,
Greg?
Well, yeah, Greg, and I wanted to throw this in there. Do you think if it wasn't Elias, could they have Elias hit Strowman with the guitar and walk away at halfway through the match because he's a heel, and if they don't want to push him, if he's going to be with Braun, Elias is going to get babyface heat, right? So Could you see if it is Elias, he walks away halfway through the match, or do you have someone else in mind?
I don't know if they go with Elias, to be honest. I think perhaps they're going to save the surprise for WrestleMania. Braun is not going to reveal who his partner is before WrestleMania, and that's the way it should be. There's a possibility perhaps he pulls somebody up from NXT to be his tag team partner. Somebody that we don't expect. I mean, Samoa Joe and Elias are possibilities. And also Big Cass, because he's on his way back. So he'd be a heck of a lot better partner than Enzo. So I think they save the surprise. I really can't say who it's going to be. I just don't see it being Elias.
You know what?
Fair enough.
Greg mentioned NXT. What about Aleister Black?
He might be champion.
Yeah,
he might be. That's true. He might be champion the previous.
What about Lars Sullivan? And then Lars turns on.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my goodness.
They would have hold the tag team titles forever.
That's right.
Unless my theory, if it was Lars and then Lars turned on Braun so they could have a program, I mean, yeah, so many possibilities.
Yeah, my theory is that if anybody from NXT is going to be on the show, they're going to be in the Andre Battle Royal or the Women's Battle Royal. I don't think anybody's going to be in another type of match because, WWE wants to give those spots to the active roster, the active main roster. So I think if we see any NXT guys, it'll be in one of the Battle Royals, and then perhaps the next night on Raw, we'll see a couple of guys make their official debuts. That's my prediction, at least.
All right, I ain't done yet. I'm getting more ideas as we sit here and talk. And you know what happened on Raw this week again? Somebody got pinned, and they currently have a title. Do you know who I'm talking about? Tell me, why can't they, I get chicken shit heels, right? But can't you make them a little more credible, especially in a non-title match or a gimmick match, always taking the pin? I think, and we've seen it with AJ Styles, and didn't Charlotte get beat recently too?
Like on SmackDown Tuesday night, yep.
Because Greg, this is your first time on the review. I'll start with you, and I'm bringing up some of these questions again because I'm sick of seeing these type of things. What's your thoughts on champions getting pinned in non-title situations?
I mean, it's such a cheap way to build up. It's such a cheap way to build up the challenger. It's like, okay, you can beat them, but you can't beat them in a title match. It's like it's wash, rinse, repeat for that type of booking. Yeah. You want to make the champion look strong because they're a champion for a reason. If you make the champions look weak, then it doesn't matter. And we've complained about 50-50 booking forever, for as long as we've been doing videos. So I don't care. I don't care for that method of booking. I miss the Attitude Era style of booking where you would book the champion against somebody who they're not facing, who they don't have a program with, because they book the guys in the program every week. It's like, okay, we've seen them wrestle like 4 or 5 times before the pay-per-view. Yep. We want to see fresh matchups when it comes to the pay-per-view. That's why we're paying for the network. We want to see these fresh matchups. And they need to put them against other people and build them up. Jeff has something to say, so I'll just let him go.
Go ahead.
No, I'm rambling, so go ahead.
Well, no, but I agree with you, Greg, and Jeff, before you kick it off here.
Sorry.
To me, it's not just the Miz. Like, you're not just disrespecting the champion, but, God forbid that we call the belts props, the business, anybody in the business calls the belts props, but that's what they are. And you're really hurting the title belt, too, when you do that, in my opinion. Go ahead.
Greg, something Greg said just completely sparked my interest there. We're paying for the network to see fresh matches. And it's like back in the Attitude Era, we were paying $40 a month, whatever it was, to get the pay-per-view, the fresh matches. But since we're not paying that $50 to them anymore, they don't care. So they give us the same match 600 times. Yep. Greg just had me have an epiphany. Thank you for saying that, Greg, because it's so true.
Yeah.
What do you think they should do then, Jeff? Like Greg said, I mean, you don't always, we hear this. Let's go back to the Attitude Era. Well, some people don't. No. They like where wrestling is at now.
I don't mind wrestling is now.
Like, can you mix things up though?
Okay, for great example, if you have Balor and Miz, Balor and Rollins going into the match to challenge against Miz, you have Balor against Dallas. You have Rollins against Axel, and then you mix it up the following week, and then you have a tag match, and you keep building. You don't let the challengers touch Miz until WrestleMania.
I mean, that's booking 101, baby.
It really is, and the fact is, you have a guy running this company. I don't care what people say about McMahon. He's been in charge of this company, directly in charge of the company for over 30 years. And the fact is, he can't see that. He's so ingrained into what he wants. It's like, Vince, your fans are telling you stop doing this stupid stuff. It's just frustrating.
Good job, Jeff, not using profanity. I appreciate it. I think I'm the only one that used profanity tonight inadvertently because my headphone went out.
Oh, you did? Great to chicken crabs. So God bless Greg for saying chicken crabs instead of chicken stuff. God bless
El Virtuoso.
Yes.
El Virtuoso. Yes. I need to stop blowing the gimmick.
You're fired.
I'm fired again. I've been in the review 2 weeks and I'm fired. That's
okay. You have a record for being fired on the NoDQ channel.
I do. It's a true story. Every time.
You're too loyal to quit, so we just fire you all the time.
That's
Well, Aaron, your take. I mean, any other last thoughts on this with the whole Miz situation? You agree with Jeff? And
I just thought it was dumb that Miz took the fall on Raw when it's a 6-man match. You have Axel, you have Bo Dallas there. It made no sense to me. Finn Balor already established that he could beat the Miz. Just in general, I'd like to see maybe some squash matches be brought back. And yeah, like Greg said, You got to get rid of the 50-50 booking. There's going to be your top guys. There's going to be your mid-carders. There's going to be your lower card guys. And, have Finn Balor beat some guys to earn a title shot, the old-fashioned way. That's really all I have to say about it. Nothing else to add.
Yeah. And that's all I got. Oh, while we were talking about that, I got another kickoff show match. I think the U.S. title match will be on the kickoff show.
Randy Orton? You think Randy Orton's going to be in the kickoff?
Well, you asked earlier, and we talked about the Battle Royals and the Cruiserweight title match. For some reason, I can see the U.S. title match on the kickoff show.
I agree.
That would really surprise me if Randy Orton is in a kickoff match.
Let's keep going, baby. We got to hit an hour. Go ahead, Jeff.
I think if Hunter wants to get Vince to see that he's doing 205 Live the right way, you move the Cruiserweight title match to the main show, and Vince will go, fine, let's see what you can do on the big stage. And when they deliver, Vince will go, I like that. That's a good idea. I thought of it,
Well, yeah. Well, as I said in my videos, the Cruiserweight title match, if they're going to make people take it seriously again, they need to have it on the main card. Otherwise, why even invest in it if it's just going to be a kickoff match in the end, which it probably is. Looking at the rest of the matches, I don't know. I'm really curious to see which matches go on the kickoff, but Randy Orton would legitimately surprise me. But is the IC title match going to be the kickoff? I mean,
no,
I don't know.
I don't.
No way, because they
way stronger than the U.S. title, so I can't see that.
Yeah, and I mean, the Usos, like you mentioned earlier, Greg, the whole thing they've been building up for weeks and weeks is that they've never gone to be on the main show. So I don't know what you put as the kickoff matches. It's got to be at least one of the Battle Royals for sure. Yep. And as for what else, I don't know at this point. So El Virtuoso or Jeff?
The fact of the matter is they've been pushing the Cruiserweight show for so long. Every day on what's it? Drake Maverick, is that what Spud's name is?
Yeah.
Drake Maverick. Okay, every day on his Instagram story is an advertisement for the hat and the shirt. 205 every single day. They want the show to get over, and the fact is they brought Spud in to be the general manager to get that show buzz, and this tournament has been spectacular. Every match has been on point, and I think that if they do anything but put them on the main show, it completely wipes out the last 2 months of booking. Completely just destroys it.
Yeah, it's all about perception.
Well, it's WrestleMania season. You know what? It's also going to be beach ball season because the weather's going to start getting warmer. So show that beach ball again.
I can't. It's all. Hang on
you don't have it, Aaron. I want you to explain. So you did this little beach ball puzzle thing, and you're going to do it again. So
yeah,
inform the fans about that.
Put it in the front of you, Jeff. Yeah, put it in front of you, Jeff. Okay,
block my face. They're trying to say.
Because I thought that was awesome when I was watching your Twitter the other day.
Oh, well, thank you, El Virtuoso. I'm surprised you didn't try to win the contest, but I don't know if you follow Virtue's columns. I did.
Wait. I don't need to win it. You're going to send me a beach ball for doing these shows, right?
Absolutely.
Of course.
All right. But anyway, go ahead.
You could always use two of them, though. Have one as a backup just in case.
But we at the NoDQ review, we're all about beach balls. So go ahead, Aaron.
So, yeah, I did a contest this week, and I gave a series of clues. The correct word was Warlord. It was won by, I forgot his name. Don't get mad at me, but I did tweet out that he was the winner, and I got his address. He's getting the beach ball within the next couple of days. And next week I will be doing another contest. This time it will be on Facebook, so you'll have to give me the winning word on Facebook. But same thing, the clues will be given on NoDQ.com. You could still buy a beach ball, $9.98. Jeff, you can put it away now. I know you're hurting your back there or whatever. $9.98. You can email me, nodqmisc@gmail.com, and pick up a nodq.com beach ball. And I guess I just did my plugs here. So, Greg, you were on the NoDQ review for the first time. Go ahead and give us your plugs. You are the trivia champion, by the way.
Absolutely. So, Season 4 Wrestling Trivia Challenge coming after WrestleMania because WrestleMania time's going to be crazy. So, you'll see me on that, hopefully for longer than a week. PA Sensation on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram too, but I rarely check Instagram, so follow me on Twitter. Trying to get to 1,000 followers. It's going to take me a while, but just follow me on Twitter. That's all I got.
Jeff, Mr. Meacham.
I have a petition to start with the boss man here, Aaron.
Sure. WrestleMania
predictions panel, whether it's the review or the actual NoDQ panel. I would very much like Virtue's suspension to be lifted early and have him back on the show for WrestleMania.
Oh, man.
Please, please. Virtuoso, no disrespect to you, but the people have been asking me, where's Virtue? It's like, I don't have an answer for him because I wasn't part of that whole chat.
I'll have to see how long it's been. I think it's been close to 2 months, but I don't think that'll be exactly 2 months. I might get some heat for that, but we'll see.
Let's bring him back.
El Virtuoso has a contract with us, so he's at least going to be on here next week. But after that,
and I've checked the numbers. Other than last week's show, with a couple extra thumbs down, we've been doing pretty good since I've been moderating these shows. But
this is true, but
again, I'm a team player because if Virtue comes back, I'm sure you'll see me from time to time somewhere.
Absolutely.
Now wait a minute.
I won't get bent out of shape.
Wait a minute. Now, what happens if after next week's show, if El Virtuoso, you go visit the Lake of Reincarnation and you accidentally slip in the water? I don't know what happens in that case. Then I have no control over it. If you slip into the Lake of Reincarnation, it's not my fault, people, if he turns up as somebody else.
I don't know why you're saying you. I'm going to jump in the lake and come back out as Virtue. I mean, come on. I'm El Virtuoso.
Well, you guys have similar names. You guys have similar names, so, Jeff could come back as, Jeffrey from Toys R Us. El Jefe. I'm not sure who Greg would come back as. Who would you come back as, Greg?
Gregory Iron.
Well, I have seen a lot of people wanting Virtue back in the comments, and you know what? I have to pick out of you three, though, who was the review panelist of the week. And this is tough because Jeff made his debut. Or not Jeff, Greg.
Greg made his debut.
Maybe I'm done. Maybe I'm ready to go. Greg, you made your debut. You did a heck of a job. Aaron always does great. But today, Jeff, I think you stole the show because you had epiphany. You had a couple epiphanies, and so, I'm going to give it to you this week. You deserve it. You earned it. I gave it to Vito. I gave it to Vito last week and maybe showed some favoritism there because Vito's was a wrestling star. You earned it, man.
But you know what? It's the best Jeff can get right now because he cannot compete for the Trivia Championship anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
So as the winner, buy the shirt.
Buy the shirt. Yes, ProWrestlingTees.com. Search NoDQ or check out the link in the description box. We got all the shirts. I did order some new beanies, by the way. A little bit of breaking news here. They are on their way. More beanies coming. We got the belts courtesy of Bad Billy J. His shop is etsy.com/shop/Bad Billy J. And, of course, the beach balls. Tons of NoDQ merch. It is the 20-year anniversary, so we got to have all the merch out. So that's it for the
swag for days, kids.
El Virtuoso, you got no social media. I don't know why. You got a lot of fans, but I guess you got other things you got going on. So go ahead.
Maintain his privacy, brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm good to go. I mean, we had a lot of extra airtime to fill this week, so it was tough to get to the hour. But with all due respect, everybody I've been on the shows with on the NoDQ review, I appreciate each and every one of them, past and present. But for Aaron Rift, for Greg Cherry, and for Jeff Meacham, I am El Virtuoso, and we'll see you again soon.